In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use the multi-line text command. So there's two different types of text that you can do in AutoCAD. There's multi-line and there's single line. One way that you can get to it is on the home menu under annotation. If you pull this down, we have multi-line and single line. Single line sometimes you'll hear called D text, and multi-line sometimes you'll hear it called M text. D for dynamic, M for multi-line. So we could start that command. Or if you go to the Annotate ribbon, under the text, you'll see those same two options. You can also do the Draw pull-down menu, text, and you've got single line, multi-line. You can type M text and you can type D text as well. So however it is that you feel like getting there, we'll just go to the multi-line text command. Now with this one, multi-line text is great if you've got formatting options that you need to do to it, and I'll show you all about this. So the first thing it wants us to do is draw a box. And this is kind of like when you're in Word or something and you need to draw a text box. This box defines the boundaries for my text. So all of my text will fit inside of this box. Once it hits the end of the box, it'll wrap around and come to a new line. At this point, you can zoom in or out, and you can just visually make it whatever size you want that box to be. And now you can see I've got a cursor. I'm typing within the text box, but the most important thing happening here is when you're using multi-line text, you get a brand new ribbon that you only see when you're editing text. And this is the text editor. This is a contextual ribbon, which means it'll only show up when you're in this specific command, whether you're typing in multi-line text or you're editing multi-line text. So here I can start typing. We always use all caps when we're doing drafting, so I'll put my caps lock on and say, this is multi-line text. I'll press enter. And just multi-line text. You can do all kinds of fancy formatting like bullets. The way I can get bullets is you're going to highlight this text and you'll come up here to bullets and numbering, and you will click on this that says bulleted. So I've got bullets. When I press enter, I have a new bullet. If I highlight it again, this time instead of having bullets, I can say numbered, and it will just number. Press enter, and I get a new number here. Underline, highlight this text, and I have this option to underline. Notice underline is still on here, so as I type new text, it will be underlined as well. So I can highlight this and uncheck underline. I can change it to bold, and so on. If I were to type here, I can do italics. You can see just in exploring all of these options here, there's a lot that you can do. There's justification. If I need it to wrap into columns, I can set that here. If I need special symbols, I can get to some special symbols here, like the degrees or diameter. Let's see what else are really common ones. Yeah. Oh, justification. So let's do this. If I highlight everything and I choose what kind of justification I want, top left is what it's doing now. I could make it top right, middle left, and that's to the middle of the box that I drew. Middle center puts it all perfectly centered in that box. Middle right, bottom left, bottom center, and bottom right. So you can choose how you want it to be justified. You can choose the text height. So I have it highlighted right now, and I'll type in maybe a 0.4. So when I press enter, my text just got a lot bigger. And do you notice how it wrapped? And that's because my text is so big, it got to the end of my text box, or that little window that I drew around it. And so it's just wrapping to a new line. So I can change my text style here and put it on whichever text style I'd like to use. For now, I'll just leave it like this. I made it so big that it's wrapping around. I'll close my text editor, which is this last icon over here, the green check mark. Close the text editor, and I have my text right here. I wanted to leave it big so that I can show you. Once you've clicked out of that, you have access to this box. You can kind of see the boundary of this little window that I drew originally. If I click on this arrow, I can make my box bigger, and that gives it room so it doesn't have to wrap around. So a good example of when you might use this would be to come in here. We're going to do multi-line text. We'll draw it right here. And it defaults to that 0.2, which is okay. You could change it if you need to, but watch. Notes, material, UOS is unless otherwise specified. So I like to use, for notes, I like to use multi-line text because this is what I do. Now that I've got this all in my text box, I can highlight this one and underline it. I can highlight these three and do numbered. When I close my text editor, this is what your notes should look like. So it'll have the notes, it's underlined, and then however many numbered notes you may have, any other notes that you may need right there. So multi-line text is a really great one to use for things like notes. All right, in the next video, I'll show you how you can use single line text.